Hello, could Australia and the UK make the perfect economic match? I'm Aaron Young. This is The Connector. And so, with all of that shared culture, £5.6 billion in annual trade, trillions in super funds flowing into British assets as well, the ties run deep. Today, this is the first episode of The Connector, and it's my pleasure to welcome Belinda Coates to the network, to Ticker, founder of Harper. Great to have you here, and of course, you're just back from the UK.
I am. I spent a crazy week in the amazing energy of London.
Yes, the energy in the UK is what we want to bring here, the energy between the two nations as well, because the Connector, you are the Connector. This is what you do, this is what you have been doing, and that's why we're bringing this show together.
I'm really passionate about bringing people together generally, but I also have a certain soft spot for London. But I have realised over the years of working in London and getting to know the different businesses across London and Australia, how similar we are and how much we can learn from each other.
Yes, a shared history, of course, in many ways. Talk to us about, from a political side, Canberra and Westminster. I mean, considered the most like-minded when we think about all of the different nations that we deal with. It goes right back to the UK. That's
right. I think the UK and Australia were possibly two countries that are almost like brother and sister. There's probably not two countries that are as similar.
I like that you say brother and sister, not kind of mother and daughter, because the UK has quite often been referred to as the motherland for Australians.
Just generally though, UK and Australia, if we combine our forces, we will be the fourth largest economy in the world.
Wow, that is incredible in itself. And it's not just economics, but we talk about education as well, and the amount of Brits who live in Australia.
I was actually quite pleasantly surprised. There's over 1 million Australian residents that were born in the UK. And it's actually our largest migrant population is from the UK.
That is incredible.
So our connections run quite deep. We have a similar DNA and we think very like-minded. Our accounting, our legal, our regulatory building practices are very similar. And so doing business together makes sense. We're all both English-speaking countries. And when we partner together, we can really do that 1 + 1 = 3.
Now, obviously, the Australia and the UK, I mean, it goes right back to the 1700s. But the issue is in the 1970s, things changed a fair bit in terms of the UK joining the EU. Their relationship with the continent got a lot stronger than their relationship with the rest of the Commonwealth, particularly for countries like Australia as well. What do you think today makes London such an attractive hub for Australians to be doing business in and to live as well?
The City of London Corporation and London generally are very invested in bringing in global investment into London. So they're set up for it. It's an amazing business centre. It's the design hub of the world. But also there is that little thing called the Australian sovereign wealth. And we're worth about 4 trillion, which is actually 1 trillion more. The superannuation funds in Australia are actually worth 1 trillion more than all the ASX companies combined. So we have quite a lot of wealth to distribute around the world. And from what I understand, the super funds now are looking at divesting around 50 to 70% of the Australian sovereign wealth into other countries to diversify their risk.
Essentially what you're saying, cashed up Australian super funds looking at the UK and the opportunities there, particularly in what super funds do well at, which is property.
Correct, that's correct. We already know that Australian super are spending quite a lot of money in investment in the UK and have done for some time. So they are a major owner in the King's Cross precinct and Canary Wharf, and they've been a big investor in the future of the UK.
Which is great because historically the UK has been one of the biggest investors in Australia as well.
Potentially. I think we'd like to see a little bit more though. Just looking at trade, $5.5 billion coming out of Australia into the UK. There's only $4 billion coming back. There was a little joke in one of the mainstream papers this morning that potentially there's only so many Bentleys that we can buy in Australia. But I think that we'd like to see more of the pension funds from the UK looking at Australia for investment opportunities and see how we can partner better. But from a real estate and investment perspective, it's also, there's so much we can learn from each other, and that's what I'm really passionate about. In my business, as a business growth strategist, we work with architecture firms, PM firms, property developers and consultants across Australia and the UK. And it's really exciting to see what we can learn. Last week when I was in London, I took a tour of Wembley precinct, the largest build-to-rent and co-living precinct in the UK. And there's quite a bit that we can be learning in Australia around affordability and also asset revitalisation and retrofit, the list goes on. We just need to work better together.
We talk about it, and it's such a paradox, isn't it, when you're mentioning there about the pension funds in the UK, the superannuation firms in Australia, 150% of Australian GDP, a huge amount of money in them. It's almost tepid, isn't it, the way that each country looks at each country, despite our shared history and our shared background and common values. Why don't you think things have been a lot stronger, and why does it take the connector to bring it together?
It's definitely not me bringing it together. There's some amazing groups in the UK actually that travel the world, attracting the investment into London, and I'd love to see Australia do more of that too. So Opportunity London is a fantastic group that is being set up by the boroughs and the City of London Corporation to support investment into Australia, and the CEO of Jace Tyrrell will be a guest on our show. Wonderful. Coming up. But also, yeah, I just think that Australia could do a lot more to spread the word around the world that we're also a great place to invest. Which
is exactly what this program is about. But why do you see, I guess, Australian pension funds now increasingly looking offshore? What is it that's changed?
Two things. One is diversifying risk. There's quite a lot of, there's the trillions. So diversifying risk, but also there's just not enough to invest in Australia. So these large super funds, they need to invest in billion-dollar infrastructure. So we're talking energy, data centres, infrastructure, transport, a myriad of commercial office developments. And there's just not the investment.
Is that linked to our small population, do you think?
It is linked to our small population, yes. But just the value of real estate in the UK is tremendous. The commercial office property market alone in the UK is worth, I understand, £3 trillion. So that's 5-6 million trillion, in Australian dollars.
Which is a lot, yeah. Huge. And talk to us about the British assets. So which assets, what type, what class do you think that the Australian super funds are currently buying into compared to what they should be doing?
Well, it was reported recently, Aware Super are specifically looking at core assets, so they're looking at commercial office. They have a partnership with Delaware Real Estate, and they've created a platform called Dare, I think it's called. And they're specifically looking at commercial assets where they can uplift. In London, they pay the highest rent across Europe, so the tenants are very valuable.
Well, they've got this super fast link as well, haven't they, that they're building at the moment from the south of the country to the north of the country with the trains. Huge infrastructure projects happen in the UK as well, and a lot of opportunity. And I guess that question as to whether it's risk or safe, the UK comes across as, I guess, a bit of a safer bet, even though a risky bet, but still somewhat safe compared to other things we could be doing.
For long-term assets, London is considered one of the safest places to invest.
Wow.
When I was at the London Investment Summit just last week, a lot of the global investors from around the world they did mention that several times, that London was considered very safe. But with the $100 billion in infrastructure rollout, PPPs is definitely something that the UK need to start looking at. They've been pausing on that since the PFI process didn't go so well several years ago. A number of the Tier 1 contractors went broke during that process, and there's a bad taste in the mouth in the UK. So there is now a movement to bring back the PPPs and see how that UK can...
It's funny, isn't it, the ups and downs of the PPPs? We see it here as well. What's interesting is, I mean, the UK we think of as one country, as one state, sure, councils, but we have a lot of states in Australia and a lot of different governments, regional governments, state governments as well. We saw the Victorian Premier heading to China as the first big trip, not to the UK. Do you think that will ever change? Do you think we'll get to the point that we do look towards the UK for more opportunity as opposed to Asia?
I hope that we do. Asia will always be important. It's so close, and around 35% of our exports go to Asia. So it's very important for us to have an alliance with Asia.
Because one of the things we have so similar with the UK, of course, compared to many other countries, is accounting and legal systems as well. Talk to us about that.
Our accounting, legal and the building regulation systems are very similar, and that's why we have great alliances between Australia and the UK, between those types of firms, but they still need the local nuances, and that's really important. But the 24/7 economy with UK and Australia is a wonderful way to do business.
And yes, that is very true. The sun never sets on the British Empire. Why, I guess, is Britain still a small export market compared to Asia? Is it just a tyranny of distance? It's easier to get iron ore ships and oil ships, cargo headed to China up the South China Sea as opposed to all the way through the Suez Canal?
It's a different type of export, I would suggest. Asia is much closer. But one of the things that I found recently is that UK and Australia, what I'd love to see is for us to partner on tertiary. So I know the UK and the US have partnered a lot more than Australia and the UK. We don't have any current UK tertiary institutions in Australia, and it'll be wonderful to see that together, combined. Australia and the UK have over 1/4 of the top globally recognised universities.
And yet, despite we put a U in everything like the UK does, and so much shared in common, there's still that separation. Why do you think that is?
The UK is on the global stage.
Right.
They are one of the most significant real estate investment economies in the world. And they are being, we need to get that share of wallet, and we deserve it, because we do have the $4 trillion sovereign wealth. And we do know that they are rolling out the red carpet for us. And I think that it's time that we had more conversations around how we can partner better together and really get that 1 + 1 = 3. UK, Australia, together will be the 4th largest economy in the world.
Wow, and I guess the strategic and cultural advantage that Britain offers Australia too. You mentioned the rolling out of the red carpet. Talk to us about, I guess, the cultural advantages too.
Well, definitely, particularly the fact that, of course, we speak the same language, but we speak the same business language as well.
Yeah.
We have the same focus on ESG, asset revitalisation. We have the same focus on diversity and inclusion. And the way that we connect with each other and build relationships is so similar. And
our governments both have President Trump in common now as well, that they have to deal with too. It is so fantastic and so exciting, of course, to see this program come together. It's been coming together for a few months now. It's so great to have you here at Ticker. Thanks so much. And we can't wait to see what you do with the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this program, brought to you by Harper. You're watching Ticker. We'll be back right after this.